everybody, welcome to Media Club. This week we're going to be going over a question that Chris has for us. We're going to be going over State of Play and the Pokemon Presents. We're joined by all of Waypoint for once. We've got Austin,
Hey, that's me. Hello.
got Brett,
Hey guys.
got Jordan,
What's up, everyone?
got Chris,
Hey,
and making his Waypoint return, we got some other Josh.
been gone for so long.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Exactly.
Thank y'all for having me.
So, Chris, what is this fabled question you have for us?
I might have overstated it a little bit, just as it's not for everybody. It's specifically for Josh.
Yes.
But somebody just made a huge fucking noise, and now my dog won't shut up.
Awesome.
Okay. So it has recently come out that Japan Studios has shut down. They're no longer
Yes.
making any more games.
I saw that.
Okay, cool. So you know where you're going with this. Japan Studios, of course,
1,000%.
involved in the creation of Knack.
Right. Right. You put out Bloodborne and Knack. Knack obviously, Knack got a sequel. Bloodborne didn't. So, and Knack 3 could have saved Japan Studio. But it's sad to see it go. I don't know what Mark Cerny is going to do now. We all sent them our ear picks, for that 3D audio headset for the PS5. And it's heartbreaking to see it go,
That was.
I
just wanted to make sure he knew that. Like, how do you?
I will remember you.
They're still going to be around to make Astrobot.
I really feel like they retired at the top of their game. Knack and Bloodborne. I mean, what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah.
Now they're kind of being
exactly.
restructured. They're being restructured around. I always forget how to pronounce
Asobi.
it. Asobi, yeah. So it's like, hear me out. Knack v Astro Boy.
All right, let's move on.
Whoa,
Crossover
that's
of
an
a lifetime.
ambitious crossover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A crossover bigger than Endgame.
I don't want this. I don't want it.
I thought you were
Kinda
going to come in
want
here.
it, though.
Stop.
I kind of want to see that.
Right?
I thought you were going to come in here and ask the cast if hot dog is a sandwich or something. Or,
No, shut the fuck up.
if
That's a
or,
Waypoint
where do we
podcast.
stand,
Go back
where do we stand on that?
Go back to not being on this podcast.
Y'all got
Go
Brett
on,
now. That's
flag.
good.
All right.
All right. So, State of Play was this past, what was it, Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
So,
At
what
time of
are-
recording, this is Sunday, by the way.
correct, yes. What are some of our, I guess, baseline reactions to it?
Sifu! Sifu looks so fucking badass.
1,010%. 1,010%.
That's the biggest takeaway for me was Sifu, because they were like, hey, you like fight scenes in movies? You want to play an entire video game that's just the hallway scene from Daredevil? And I go,
Yes,
yes.
1,000%.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I do. Apparently, it's my understanding that they were the team that worked on Absolver,
Absolver, yes.
which
Makes
I
sense.
never played.
Slow Clap
Uh,
is the name of the
'cause I
studio,
wasn't-
Slow Clap.
I liked the idea of it. I wasn't crazy about it being like a multiplayer game, and I just never got around to picking it up because I believe it wasn't free, was it?
No.
I don't think so.
I think it was paid, which is why I was like, nah, I'm good.
Absolver.
Yeah,
I feel like it might have came to PS Plus at one point in time.
that sounds right.
That sounds right, yeah.
Either way, I never got around to playing it, but I mean, it just looks so cool. I really like the aesthetic too, because I mean, I don't know if I've talked on the podcast. I just recently, finally, got around to finishing Ghost of Tsushima, and
Nice.
so which is excellent, by the way. I think I might actually
Absolutely.
try. I think I might try and go for the plat.
Ooh.
It's very good.
Which is not something I do. But I'm on like this like feudal Japan kind of thing, right? And it really gave me a lot of those just like it's a little more modern. There's guns and stuff in it, but I mean, really like kung fu movie vibes, and I'm super here
Right.
for that.
I had the exact same thought.
Yeah, it made me just like reminisce about watching Jackie Chan movies as a kid. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want that. I just
Mhm.
want that as a game. Also,
Yeah.
did you know like every time you die, you just like get older?
It gets older. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that's
about to
what-
bring that up.
So
Damn.
I've got the IGN article about all the announcements. It says Sifu is a new action game that promises a unique take on kung fu genre that will literally turn the student into the master, as each time the character dies, they're revived slightly older and more skilled.
Every time though. So like if you die 100 times, what?
Yeah.
what
The whole
happens?
course of the
I think
game,
there's
yeah.
probably a limit. Like there's probably a fail state in there because you can only get so old.
Yeah,
I just mean it's like, how old does the person like? Obviously, they're not going to just keep going. But
what's the ceiling?
What is the what's the ceiling look like? Like, are most people going to be finishing this game looking like a grandpa?
They just
didn't they show him as like a grandpa?
At the end, you're just a head in a jar,
Mhm.
wobbling around
like Richard Nixon.
Exactly.
But I mean, really cool concept. I'm super in for Sifu. That was my biggest takeaway.
What do we think about a price?
How much is it?
$20 to $30.
That's a my guess.
Oh, like you're asking, what do you think? I can see it being like 30 to 40.
Yeah.
I could also see it coming out
it.
being a PlayStation Plus like game.
Yeah.
Kind of the same way they're doing it with Game Pass, but having it like just come straight to PlayStation Plus.
Well, that's like
also like PlayStation All Stars.
Well,
I'm sorry, not PlayStation All Stars. What was
Destruction.
it called?
Destruction All Stars.
Destruction All Stars.
Don't bring it up.
That's one thing that I was gonna talk about too, is that they're starting to do that more and more, because they did it with Destruction. They did they did it with Bug Snacks first, then Destruction All Stars, now Oddworld. So it's like they're gonna be doing that every couple months. It seems they're just launching a game straight on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, Oddworld was the one where I was like, all right, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like maybe
it's not for me.
Maybe it's like, okay, when I'm bored one day, because it's kind of like a puzzly game, right?
But yeah, kind of, yeah. But it coming to PS Plus is perfect, because I would have never played it otherwise. But since it's coming to PS Plus, I will at least download it, and we'll see if I ever give it a try. But it'll be there.
To my library.
Yeah.
Oddworld
Add it to the library. Yeah.
Oddworld is like Lemmings meets Mario. Is the best way I can describe it. It's weird.
But with like Fallout 3 atmosphere, kind of.
Yeah, it's really dark and strange, and it's not my vibe. But I mean, I don't hate on anybody that's into it or whatever. I know some people really like Oddworld. The only one that I liked was Munch's Odyssey on the original Xbox, because that one broke away from it and actually turned into just like a regular 3D platform. And it was really good. It was really funny.
I will say that every time I've seen a trailer for this game, the trailers are dope. Like, they have really good music in the back, and the sound design is cool, and whoever does that they're doing well.
I'd say for me, probably the biggest thing I'm excited for that came out of this is Deathloop still. Like, they had an amazing song. Like
some real James Bond vibes in that whole trailer.
In this one, absolutely.
The game looks like you play through like a James Bond intro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It just oozes
Real
style.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
supposedly the last Bethesda game coming to PlayStation.
Ghostwire?
Believe that personally.
Is that a Bethesda game?
Yeah, Ghostwire is a Bethesda game. Those two are both PlayStation exclusives, or at least timed exclusives. But now people are thinking that every Bethesda game is going to be Xbox exclusive. Personally, I don't buy that.
That's
I don't think they would do that.
I think they're doing it. It's exclusive.
You think?
I think that's a conversation for another time, because
that could be its whole thing.
Because I mean, just a quick thought, is like, you don't spend that much money on a studio to make
1,010%.
Yeah, you're
to
keeping
make
Elder Scrolls on your own box. Yeah,
that's just my thought, but yeah, I got PC, so I don't need to worry about it.
I'm gonna let my dogs outside real quick.
Cool.
Be right back. Continue.
We'll miss you.
I think
go ahead.
Me,
let the dogs out, Austin.
I think for me, my favorite announcement was the Final Fantasy VII stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I'll.
It looks so sick.
So the remastered remake, the DLC content, because
basically
I've been replaying
upgrading.
it. I've been replaying it the last couple of days, and it might be one of my favorite games.
It's so good.
Of that generation. It's just
so
stunning. It's just so stunning, gorgeous, like visually. I've tried to get into a bunch of Final Fantasy games, and it's always been tough. And this one has just grabbed me.
How the hell did they take Final Fantasy VII, which already looks runs incredibly well on PlayStation 4, and still make it look better?
I think that's a credit to the game, because when they were showing the comparisons, I'm like, wait, this one's getting different. But like, that's how good it looked on PS4.
But it's just the lighting. Yeah. They added so much
the lighting's way better.
Yeah, and then like I was gonna.
And the background stuff too. Yeah.
Yep.
And they gave Cloud a little more muscle mass.
And
he's
the
just
hair
been hitting the gym
too. You can see it in all the anime hair.
crazy good looking. I'm 100% gonna replay that game on PS5 when that drops.
I don't think I'm gonna replay the whole thing, but it's like watching that first half when like that was a good chunk of the state of play, and then they started telling you what the features are going to be, and then what this DLC is. I was watching, I was like, damn, I really like that game. Like it just took me a second to realize. I was just like, fuck, I love that game.
I had the same.
Yeah, because I haven't played it since like June.
Yeah. And they're letting you upgrade for free, which is like but kind of shocking because sometimes Square Enix is like they'll charge you like $200 for all of Kingdom Hearts on like
big thing. Big thing to know though.
I'm so upset about that.
It's coming to PS Plus, but if you get the PS Plus version, you can't upgrade.
Right.
Yeah,
can't upgrade
they will not upgrade to PS5.
Any other way you have it, you're getting a free upgrade. But
I got it. I'm set.
PS
Do we know?
Right? Does anyone else think that's dumb?
No.
No.
Yes, but you're getting a PS4 version's amazing, so it's hard to beat. But you don't get the DLC though, so that will stink if you get really into it. But then at that point, you can pick up a PS4 copy for $20.
It'll be cheap by that time. Yeah.
And
I mean, your save will still transfer up if you just like authenticate it by picking up a regular game or whatever. Like,
I guess you download it for free to like dip your toe in, and if you like it and you want the DLC, you just kind of get the disc.
I'm sure that there's a way. If you get the PS Plus version, there'll be like a $20 fee to upgrade or something.
They haven't said anything about that so far, so
they have all month. So
I feel like it would be they'd be leaving money out on the table. Because I don't think people would be willing to drop like $60 just to play it on PS5 if they already have it for free on PS4. But if you're like, hey, upgrade for $20,
do we know when? Because a lot of the companies are doing that. They're like, hey, if you had this last gen game that came out towards the end, and there's now a next gen game, you kind of get the upgrade for free. Do you still need to have the disc in your console, or is it a downloadable version? You do.
Yes.
Okay,
that's why.
So it's just more of like a patch specifically for the PS5.
So for me, I had to, because I bought Borderlands 3, the Super Deluxe Edition. I got the Steelbook and all that, but I have a digital PS5. So I still had all the DLC and all that, but I had to buy the game. So luckily, right around when the PS5 launched, they had that on sale for like $20. So I just bought the game digitally. So. That's where some people are kind of getting screwed, is that they have physical games, but digital PS5. So,
but hold up, you wouldn't have been able to upgrade it because you couldn't put the disc in the first time to authenticate it. What I'm saying is, after the first, you still need to have the disc in every time.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Just wondering,
because that's
I wasn't sure if they were
just. So
I figured. I just wasn't sure if they were going to be like, check the license. Okay, now you have the digital copy of the PS5 version.
I have the digital PS5, so I could not tell you exactly how
you only ever have it one way.
Right.
Which one of you fucks already picked up the Diamond and Pearl remake on Fantasy Critic League?
I picked them up when they were still rumored. That was like my second draft.
Yeah. You guys allow remakes in your league?
Yeah, we allow pretty much everything.
We're not kind of funny.
Have you seen my entire team?
Yeah, I have. Anyway, sorry.
It's a remake of like.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Either way, though, you still have to have the physical disc. What else came out? I'm really, really stoked on Kena.
Yes.
Bridge of Spirits. The game looks rad. I was not expecting it to also be PS4.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting how well it runs on PS4 because it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a Ghibli movie. Looks dope.
It's like their art style does look like it's an animated cutscene the whole time, and it has like that like a Pixar touch to it.
That alone, that's why I'm buying that game. Like even if I don't love the gameplay, like it's gonna look beautiful, and I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
4K HDR.
Excellent.
It's not that I'm not sold on it. I'm just like, I'll probably get to that someday, but like I'm not rushing to buy it first day.
We must protect the little puff.
This state of play showed us gameplay of a lot of games that had already been announced previously that we just kind of seen some like cinematics of it and stuff.
But
Like there was that. There was Solar Ash.
We knew that going in ahead of time though, because they said 10 deep dives into games with a few new announcements.
And I think people were kind of upset about that. Whereas for me, a lot of the games that I saw, I wasn't initially sold on until the last State of Play, to the point where I was like, okay, now I'm interested in playing Solar Ash, and I'm glad I finally get to see gameplay of Kena and a couple of these others. Like
the Pathless. I mean, Solar Ash.
Yeah. I never played Pathless. I heard good things though.
You can get it on PC.
Ooh, I might have to get on that. But I mean, speaking of Solar Ash though, damn, that game is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know
Reminds
some people,
me of Dead Cells.
I was gonna say some people are a little disappointed with it because it's from the creators of Hyper Light Drifter, so they're kind of maybe expecting more combat and not mostly movement based. So
I'm fine with a good old platformer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it looks so fun to just move around in that world.
Which, yeah, when they specifically were like, yeah, hey, there's a huge emphasis on movement and maneuverability, I went, hell yeah, I love that sort of shit, dude. That's why Titanfall fucks, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it just feels good to move around in.
Am I the only one where Solar Ash did nothing for me?
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. Other than Final Fantasy VII remakes stuff, most of the games there didn't do it for me personally. I'm not saying it was a bad State of Play. I just kind of was like, cool. Those weren't games that I was super looking forward to anyway. But it's like now I have a little bit. Deathloop is probably the one other than Final Fantasy VII that I'm like, oh, that's one that's really interesting because everyone's talking about it, and so that's more like FOMO than me just being like, that's such a cool concept. But I mean, all these games look fine, just they don't look like my type of games.
That's fair, especially with like Sony's strategy of just trying to get in something for everyone, in which that's what I think this State of Play did really well. Where like my biggest takeaway was Sifu for sure, and then love seeing more Deathloop. Love getting to know more about Returnal too, specifically because that's in my fantasy draft, and also we all know Resogun. Other than Knack, best PS4 launch game for sure.
Returnal is my counter pick, so seeing that footage, I was like,
Returnal initially, it's so funny to say because initially when they first announced it, I was like, it looks fine, I guess. And then we saw the gameplay of it, and I went, oh.
The gameplay they showed at this State of Play sold me on it much more than the one at the Game Awards, because the one at the Game Awards I looked at and I went, this is so insane. I'm never going to be able to keep up with this game. I'm going to lose. It's not for me. And this one's like, okay, no, the game does have like its slow, normal third-person shooter moments.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I wasn't expecting it to be so fast. Like I was like, I love fast games like that. When you're like, hey, combat's quick and intense, and you have to do a lot. And I go, excellent. And so it kind of looks like my kind of thing now.
For me, I was watching the Kind of Funny Coaster streaming, and
same here.
They so I still haven't seen the Returnal part of the State of Play because they got that whole Twitch purple screen during that. So I still haven't seen the Returnal stuff.
That's so funny.
It was okay.
I mean, it looks pretty good.
No, I'm kidding.
We're like right around the corner though. It's like March 18th still, I think, if they're hitting
that date. Let's say sometime
here. Is that full
April 30th.
Yeah.
April 30th. Okay.
Yeah, it got delayed recently.
Yeah, it's full 60.
Okay.
Nice. Another game I'm really excited about, which I think comes out soon, just in a completely different style, is I actually really like the look of Knockout City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. It looks fun.
I'd be down to give it a try at least.
Yeah. I'll probably pick it up on PC just so I can play with people and stream it. But I mean, it looks really cool. I like when people try to make like different kind of multiplayer games, the idea of like a high octane dodgeball game. I'm like, yeah, why not? That looks like fun, dude. And it's better to try and get in on it at launch because I don't know how like strong of legs this game is gonna have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it'll be fun for like a weekend or like with friends.
Yeah.
Just look at Destruction All Stars.
Hey.
that game slaps.
The thing is ignore Josh, but the thing is that it at least with the beta, unlike from what I was hearing about Destruction, with the exception of Josh, is that Knockout City is actually like the gameplay actually is fun. Like it's good.
I mean, I played a little bit of Destruction All
Slow
Stars.
burn. Sorry, that was such a slow burn to just burn Destruction All Stars. The gameplay is actually fun.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah. Destruction All Stars is just one of those things where it's like, I think it's just car mechanics are very particular, so you never feel like you're doing a good job, and then so you go, oh, the gameplay just sucks. It doesn't feel good. Whereas this one's like you're running and you're throwing balls. Who was it? Yeah, who was it? I think on one of our shows that's called Knockout City Destruction No Cars.
I think that was Kumail.
Was it? Yeah.
That sounds right. I'm
pretty sure that was Kumail.
But yeah, speaking of that game, like dodgeball isn't exactly a genre of game that like there's a lot of. And I know this isn't like your traditional dodgeball, but like the fact that they're just taking that and putting a spin on it, like screw it, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah, they're like, what if we put Overwatch powers in dodgeball? And I go, yeah.
I'm in.
Brett's face lit up because y'all mentioned dodgeball, and I think
it's such a good movie.
I think he was thinking
the Vince Vaughn movie.
Y'all were referring to the movie. Yep.
Yeah, so I love Dodgeball, the movie, and there was a Monsters Inc. Dodgeball game on GameCube back in the day.
Yo, I remember that.
Which was a ton of fun. And so
there's a game. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and then just to echo your point again, like we don't get a lot of like dodgeball games, so it's just and, playing dodgeball in real life's fun too. So
dodgeball is always cool.
There's a cute game called Stickbold. I don't know if it's like Dutch or Swedish or something. It's on the Switch. It's probably on other platforms, but it's like a top-down dodgeball game, and it's super fun. It's like a party game.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to see more sports games that branch out from like the typical like organized sports or whatever. Like where's my like ultimate frisbee video game? You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah.
Disc Jam or not? And then
Windjammers.
Windjammers. Yeah.
That's more like tennis, from what I can see.
Yeah. That's not exactly.
Yeah, I played that one for a couple.
You get what I'm saying, though.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Like I like that. Give me a Foursquare video game.
I want water polo 2K21.
I think I mentioned badminton. Before recording one day. I was talking to Chris, maybe Brett too. I was like, I'll take a croquet game. Just give me croquet the game.
I think they have,
dude.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking cricket.
Exist, right?
Everybody's croquet.
See, I mean that's the thing. You arcade it, you arcade it up. Sports games get fun.
Oh yeah.
Mario-fy it.
Yeah.
100%. Or put rocket-powered cars.
Because I'm also not going to be surprised if Knockout City has like, and maybe they mentioned this and I was just zoning out, but like if different balls have different abilities, because I know they were talking a lot about how you can throw them differently.
To the point where you can catch it. I think different characters have different abilities. Is my
okay, is that what it is?
And then you can also throw people.
Yes, which I like.
Pick up a teammate and toss them, which is the funniest shit. I love it, dude.
It reminds me of the
Lord of the Rings quote.
I was gonna say from Marvel, Wolverine has a thing he does with Colossus called the Speedball Special.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a panel where he's doing it with She-Hulk, and she has like this grip on his ass. She goes, she's like, you do this with a guy, right? And he's like, yeah. She goes, I just have a really firm grip on your ass. And he goes, first rule about the Speedball Special: don't talk about the Speedball Special.
I think of The Incredibles. Throwing the mom. I don't think.
Oh yeah.
Throw me.
Screams,
yeah.
Throw me. Like screams it. Yeah, to catch the kids falling from the sky.
Yep.
Yep.
So a couple other things we haven't covered yet. The thing they opened it up with was Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, getting a PS5 release March 12th. So you get that your save transfer, 3D audio, adaptive triggers, and 4K 60.
Yeah, that's the big part.
Yeah, great update, honestly.
And all free. All free. So
also
I've
great too.
played the first 4 levels, so once I heard this was coming out, I'm probably gonna go back to it. So
they're not doing a free upgrade, right? Since it's Activision.
Oh, they are.
Oh, it's free.
They are.
Yeah.
They're the one that they're not doing the free upgrade for is Tony Hawk.
Yep,
dude.
I see what you mean though,
which is upsetting.
I can't because I have it on Xbox physical, and I'm like, I don't want to buy Tony Hawk again for next gen.
I think it's only like $10.
I have it digital, but I think it only upgrades you if you have the digital deluxe, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Tony Hawk fan.
Here's the thing: is I'm gonna buy it again.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
You will.
Yeah, that makes sense for you.
I mean, listen, if you don't want to have to pay for it again, you could just get like the real next gen skateboarding game, Skatebird, hopefully out later this year.
Fingers crossed. Next
it took me 3 days to 100% Tony Hawk. I can do it again. You know.
That's dope. Yeah. For real though, Crash 4, good game, really hard. If you haven't
Yes.
played it now,
That's right, I haven't played-
whenever that update comes, that's the best time to play it.
March 12th. Then the last game that we haven't covered is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
How
last
are
game we
they
haven't
still
I don't give a
just
fuck about it.
yeah?
we've
How are
covered
they
every
still
other
just
game.
dragging that IP out?
Now, I
like-
will give them credit because it does look like a different style game where you're actually like moving around in a big environment and stuff. But I mean, it's just that franchise has never been for me.
Yeah, I'd have to hear like raving reviews to like, even if you're not a FNAF fan, like the horror
Horror.
elements of this game are worth playing, and that's when I might give it a try.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy,
Same.
but
not-
like it's like I know it
The
just because like
original.
it's such a meme in a way. I don't even mean that as an insult.
I played
just,
the
like, had the-
original, and I think the story, like the story in the background, is interesting enough. But the actual gameplay, I mean, it's like I like playing some horror games, but I mean, it's like that's not even scary because it's like intense environments or whatever crazy design, because it's all just jump scares and it's just it feels cheap.
This game
1000%.
is not exclusive in any way, right? They're just marketing it.
I think they're just marketing it on
That
PlayStation,
sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Nicolas Cage in like a Five Nights at Freddy's stylish movie? Like it's basically just
yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's the movie, but like they didn't give it that
I
name.
can't remember the name of it, but yeah, where
That
he's
sounds familiar.
killing evil animatronics. Yeah,
That wouldn't surprise me.
it's a Netflix exclusive. I think it comes out in like a month.
Watch party?
Yeah, be
No.
down.
Yeah, sure.
No, no.
You know what,
Full-on
Austin? You're
review.
not invited.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of us will watch it and review it.
Right.
What do y'all think will be at the next state of play? If y'all had to make any predictions.
Horizon
Forbidden
2.
West.
Yeah,
I would probably say
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet.
That's coming
How
out
far?
June.
How far did the dates go for this? Just this like next couple months? They didn't
That's
go anything.
yes, June. I
Yeah.
believe is the farthest thing. Or no,
They-
August for Kina.
So they could do it. They could do it one in the summer at some point.
It's going to be about the E3. I think is the next time.
Guys, we're gonna get a state of play for E3.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, you
Which-
go.
Which
There's
isn't
not
happening
really-
now. Well, rumor.
The physical one isn't happening. I think
Yeah.
they're trying to organize
Right.
a digital thing, but I
Yeah.
mean, so many companies have already started doing their own digital events. Nintendo with the Direct, State of Play, EA Play. Like I
Ubisoft.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
Ubisoft Connect. Like, yeah, it's I think EA is kind of done.
I don't necessarily
EA, E3,
care
sorry.
if,
We
if the
understand.
name of E3 leaves or doesn't leave. I just want the game companies to still just put
For
out
1
everything in the same
Nice stuff in
weekend
the
in
summer.
June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
do it
so far
1000%.
that's exactly what they're doing. Because I mean, EA
Last summer they kind of spread
Play,
it out.
EA
though.
Play is still going to be like that weekend, and I don't think any of these other companies are going to be like, oh no, you're not stealing all the headlines for a full week. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like last year you had like Ubisoft had two that were like very spaced out apart, and like people were paying attention to them. Then you had like a whole one that was just dedicated to just like I think like JRPGs, and like that whole
that was
thing.
right at the start of lockdown though too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
it had to be-
I think they're going to be more organized about it this year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Like it was kind of spur of the moment thing. Like here's what we can manage right now. So like with
Right.
the year going through, well, maybe not because like they probably would have thought that this would be done by now. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not.
I
knows?
don't think that's going to affect anything that they're going to try and
Mhm.
show there though.
Mhm.
Like, I think they'll all still try and get it out probably again within that like the same like week that E3 used
Right.
to be.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I got one pick, and I tweeted this out, but Shuhei Yoshida follows Party Animals on Twitter, and I want that to be at the next PlayStation
That'd be
State
awesome.
of Play, and I want them to do the
Where?
follow.
Is Party Animals, you cowards!
I think
want
that game would make such a great PlayStation Plus like free
Oh,
game,
yeah.
just the same way they did with Fall Guys last year, where like it was on PC and then they just brought it over to PlayStation, made it free for the month, and like that game took over. And I think Party Animals has that same potential. And
It did it for a
please-
weekend on PC.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And it took
Exactly.
over Twitch.
And so I think that would be a great get for Sony to have, and
That would be
I want to see
huge
it.
if they got
play.
it for PS Plus, man. That would be gigantic.
Mhm.
Absolutely,
Am I still centered, Al? I'm sorry.
you are.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Worth
I know
it.
I'm centered here, but I wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's
Worth it.
I'm
it's a
looking it up
running-
now because
it's
I
a
always
running
forget
good
about this
point.
game.
Mhm.
Party Animals is Gang Beasts, but fun.
Yeah, I'm
You got
Exactly.
checking it out right now.
weapons.
I like Gang Beasts.
I like Gang Beasts. I
That's
like Gang
better.
Beasts. Party Animals is better Gang Beasts, and it's like
It's
that's
got
not a knock on Gang
amazing
Beasts at all.
headbutt
It's
and
just
a
better.
drop kick. The drop kick is so much fun.
Does it?
That was
The
Does it?
controls are actually like streamlined and easy to use. It's more accessible. They have items like in Smash Brothers, so there's more to do. The
shovel.
maps are more dynamic. Like it's just
Mhm.
better. It's better Gang Beasts.
That's what I was
That's
kind of
awesome.
gonna ask. Like, does it feel good to control?
Yes.
It actually
I know you
does.
said like it's
yeah.
better, but like, yeah.
Yeah, it actually feels because the punches aren't here. You actually you just press X and then it's like it's actual button presses rather than like weird combinations of stuff to try and get it all to run. And it feels
Okay.
better to play.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And it's just fun. Like it was literally one mode, 3 maps, and we had
Some of the most fun I've
hours. Yeah,
Ever have.
Mhm.
hours of fun.
It's good to hear.
We
So-
were crying on stream, dude.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Was it alcohol involved?
No,
Not even. It's
No.
just that funny.
it's just
Exactly.
hilarious.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
I want
Come on,
Party Animals
Shuhei.
so bad.
You got this.
That's your
Holy
pick, right?
shit,
That's
hey.
your one of your draft picks.
I do have Party Animals on my team, yeah. I do.
Alrighty,
Alright.
that's everything that was in the state of play. Now, let's move on to the meat and potatoes. We got the Pokemon Presents that aired this past Friday as of recording. So,
This
Come on, the suspense.
this is
The
where I
suspense.
just
This
mute
is
my
gonna be a
mic
great bit,
because
and it won't come
You
out.
have-
There we
You
go.
have to do it. Okay.
so I know some of
Fuck you,
us
God damn it.
have very mixed emotions on it. I know for me personally, I loved it, everything, because I
Man.
never played Gen 4, or I should not never
Same.
played. Haven't gotten past the first gym just because Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, this just never quite clicked with me. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to actually go back. I'm digging the art style just because it looks, I don't know, the 2D looks so good. The 2D style.
I completely agree, but the people, because people are upset about the art style, and to their credit, I kind of hold on. To their credit, I understand why they're upset, because when Let's Go came before that, and it looked so like beautiful and like more 3D, and like so they expected that, and then to
Mhm.
expect Let's Go and then get that, because I like the chibi 2D art style, but when you compare the two, like I understand
yeah.
they're like, excuse me, like I get that.
So I'll let Jordan go off in a minute because I know he has thoughts.
Oh, plenty.
But I'll just get ahead of it for my own opinion. So and then let you guys do your thing. But it's like I'm excited that Diamond and Pearl is coming to Switch. I mean, it is technically higher fidelity or whatever you want to call it. It's a
Mhm.
very faithful recreation, which I think again a lot of us were expecting something more along the lines of Let's Go, and they're like, no, we're gonna recreate the game on Switch. And I was like, that's cool. However, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it.
Mhm.
I think it does look a little goofy. I don't like the way the characters look. They're real doofy looking, you know, especially in the face. And I can't get into that, but that's not going to stop me from purchasing and playing it. You know, especially because similar to Al, I did play Platinum, but that was like years later. Like Heart Gold and Soul Silver had come out, so I actually went back and played them. And I tried my hand at I think it was Diamond, and it was so slow that and so Gen 4 gameplay wise is one of my favorites, but like the actual like Sinnoh region, I don't have a huge attachment to, and so I'm excited to go back and really do that up again. I'm hoping that they do something similar that Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire did. I got those wrong. Where they included like an additional like post game story
Yeah.
that had stuff from Emerald in it.
Yep.
And so I'm hoping that they include like a Platinum episode at the end of it. Just because Platinum was the one I played, and all of the like the underworld stuff was very, very cool. Everything around Giratina and stuff was rad as hell, and I would hate to see that not be in the game. But yeah, look, it doesn't look great, but I'm gonna play it. Is my final thoughts.
Jordan?
Okay, awesome. So I'm just heavily disappointed. Like, I'm gonna preface this with this. I'm not gonna be a dick about it. Like, I can be heavily disappointed and not be a dick on the internet and, you know, tell people to kill themselves or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna go to that level. But I'm not exaggerating when I'm like, I saw that and like was visibly upset for the rest of the day. And I'm going to explain why. Is with every other remake we've gotten, Fire Red Leaf Green, Heart Gold Soul Silver, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, each of those have been done in the art style of the generation it came in. Fire Red Leaf Green looked like Emerald. Heart Gold Soul Silver looked like the original Diamond and Pearl. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire looked like X and Y. There are slight differences here and there, sometimes with sprites in the UI, and then like when you got a little
those remakes look a little better even.
Yeah,
because they're usually using the same engine.
Yeah,
they're usually using the same engine. They know how to optimize it. All that
I think
stuff.
like Fire Red and Leaf Green look better than like
100%.
Ruby and Sapphire, for instance. Like they typically manage to clean it up a bit in those remakes. Yeah.
And I also liked the graphics of both Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and the graphics of Sword and Shield. I'm not going to say they were perfect, amazing, but they are what they are, and they're great. I also think that the point of these remakes are to bring that region and that story into not just the modern art style, but like modernize it for people that want to see it in a new light. And it's just like I expected to see Sinnoh from a behind the shoulder camera point of view and experience it like that. And this looks, I would argue it looks worse than the originals. And I'm not a big 2D person, but I think it's like, okay, when I look at the DS, those 2D sprites have charm to them, but it's also like they were forced into that art style because of like that tech. Now you have the ability, to make it whole, the way it should, the way you probably envisioned it in your head, like as a kid, and you can't. And that's what's getting me. It'd be like if they tried to remake like one of the original like Zelda games and just kind of kept it in a little bit of a 2D style rather than like, let's make it what it should have been had we had this technology at the time.
So I can understand both sides of that to where, I think I would have preferred it to like art style was to be more of a Let's Go thing, especially as a big fan of Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. I actually really enjoyed those games. But I can also, there was such a fervor around Sinnoh remakes online, and I can almost see, especially since it wasn't Game Freak that made them, it's this other studio that's doing it,
which is a whole other thing.
Which is wild. And it's like it's, if we want to get into that, my short thoughts on it is I'm glad that they're finally outsourcing some stuff so that way they can actually focus more on taking longer to work on main title games, but whatever. I can also see some trepidation in being like, so many people were asking for a Sinnoh remix for such a long time. It's like I can see them not necessarily, like almost being afraid to kind of move away from what the original was and be like, well, they want remakes, why don't we just give them what it was, just slightly newer? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Rather than like completely adjusting the way the camera would have to look for Diamond and Pearl and that sort of thing. Which I mean is not terribly an argument. Of course, Let's Go games were pretty close. They were still top down, but it wasn't exactly like Sword and Shield. But
I have two things. Jordan, yep. Is Gen 4 like one of your favorite? Is it your favorite?
I think like I would have to say yeah, and it's one of those things where it's the last Pokemon game that like I truly got lost in. I played both Pearl and Platinum, like started over all that, and it's like I wasn't just like nowadays when I play a Pokemon game is like I'll play through the story, the 8 gems, I'll discover some of the new Pokemon, but even though like Sword and Shield has so much post-game content and they have raids and I could try Dynamaxing and finding Gigantamax compatible Pokemon and feeding them. It's just because I'm more busy now, it's harder to keep me in. Whereas like Diamond and Pearl or Gen 4 was like, I knew what music would kick in when I went on my bike. I knew what music had the towns. I was just flying around bored like every day to like a town I'd been to 100 times just to talk to the people again. I was participating in the contests. I was using the GTS. Like the region had so much to do. And then that's not even touching the Battle Frontier that they added in Platinum, which was like way bigger than the original Battle Frontier in Emerald. And like rental Pokemon, which like allowed me to try different new Pokemon and like getting lost in Mount Coronet because it's a giant maze and all that. So it's just like it was the one I was just able to really just get lost in.
Mm-hmm. So you have a genuine attachment to this gen more so than any other gen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one specifically because it's like at this point, who hasn't replayed through Kanto like 30 times in their life?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I totally have, for sure. So, because in my mind, and this is going to be an insult to Gen 4, but this seems like an experiment. This seems like, let's see how this does. Let's see if we can make more remakes like this, because I assume it's cheaper. I assume they can get the same, like, it's going to sell practically the same amount, probably a little less because of like the style, but like for the most part, it will sell around those numbers because it's Pokemon that they always sell gangbusters. But how do you feel about that being an experiment for your favorite gen?
I was gonna say is like this anger will come back more so in like 5 years when they remake Black and White and go back to matching Black and White to the style of whatever Pokemon games we have then. So the only remake that doesn't look the way the current gen did is Gen 4, that's gonna just be me. In 5 years, I will be angry again, probably.
Yep. So one thing that's to bring up to that, is because it is outsourced, but that's just because everybody at Game Freak has been working on the game that was announced after this,
Legends.
which is Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Can I say one thing real quick before we move on?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I do want to say that I agree that the chibi art style is like, you either like it or you don't. But I do not want to have this feel like ill will towards that studio, towards those devs,
100%.
because that's not what this is. I just
No,
want to clarify.
I was gonna say a little bit more about that too. Where it's like, one, I'm sure like if somebody was to show me like 4 different designs that ranged from, let's say, Sword and Shield graphics to Let's Go graphics to these, there would be somewhere in the middle where I could see a happy medium. I'm not just, it has to be, Sinnoh the way I imagined it. I understand that. Secondly, it's like, I'm not mad at the developers, and I also don't inherently think it's a bad thing that the Pokemon Company is now looking at different developers, which they've kind of always done for more side game stuff. I just feel like it's a mixture of things, and this is all assumption. One, this was a weird way to try to introduce a new developer without them also explaining what their plans are from here on out. Two, ILCA Games has worked on some very impressive games. They've worked on Yakuza 0, and they've even worked on Dragon Quest 11, which I don't know if they were the main developers for that one, but Dragon Quest 11 looks great. They worked on the port. Okay, yeah, and the Switch port looks fantastic as far as Switch graphics go. And not only that, it has that feature where you get to switch between the 8-bit and then the modern. And if they had done that, where you could just switch between regular Diamond and Pearl graphics, and then let's just say Sword and Shield-esque graphics,
feels like a huge missed opportunity too, because it's
so. The only thing I could think of is they then have to animate sprites for every Pokemon between Gen 5 and 8, and all the moves, and on top of that, Megas.
That's a good point.
But
that's a good point. Yeah.
My thought is we literally just got a reveal trailer. That's all we know. There could be other stuff coming.
I hear you out. I hear you out that it's a real trailer, but like they zoomed in on like what Dawn looks like, and I was like, this looks like fucking My Sims. It's also the purport. It's not even just the fact that
My Sims.
It does. Oh my god.
And it's not even the fact that it's not even the fact that they're just chibis. It's the proportions of the chibis where it's like they have like kind of like the troll doll shape to them.
Which I saw a meme where somebody basically just put, because their heads are so big, they just basically had the heads and then the 2 feet.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they look just like fucking My Sims. That's so funny.
On top of that is like Gen 4 had some badass trainers, like Cynthia, like not even trying to thirst over a cartoon girl here, but it's like Cynthia was just
kind of a little.
No, I'm just saying, I don't mean it like that. Just badass. And it's like now she's going to be in a chibi form. Or Crasher Wake, who I think was my favorite gym leader of that region, just because he never wore a shirt because he was a water guy. And he's just like, I'm always going to be in a bathing suit, bitch. And like had the luchador mask. And I have to see him as like a fucking pop figure.
But in battle,
they'll still look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, it's also one of those things where it's like, and again, I understand this is my opinion. To me, it just looks so weird. Especially from like the buildings look fine, but it's the people particularly look so weird. And then like you said, the face, especially when they pan down, and then when they pan down a certain way, the actual like fences and the trees look like they're toys, like they're plastic toys in a village. And it's just like, I feel like there was more charm in the 2D sprites, which were arguably worse graphics.
Yeah, I completely understand everything you're saying for sure. Brett, did you have something?
Yeah, so and Alba pointed this out, but we don't like and this is just for me reading it because I never played the originals. I took a break, I guess, like when those came out, and I know there's like certain balancing issues where like there weren't a lot of fire type Pokemon, stuff like
I was
that.
actually going to bring that up specifically.
Yeah, that was one
So-
of the big issues.
So you'd hope that they fix a lot of that stuff as well. But the biggest travesty is
They fixed it in Platinum.
they did. Okay.
In Platinum they did, but I mean, there's no guarantee that they'll base these remakes off of Platinum either.
Mhm.
But the biggest travesty is they called it Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond instead of Shining Diamond, because then they could have gotten a Rihanna.
Same man, like a diamond.
But then I guess they didn't want 98% of people just buying
Making
the
that
diamond
joke,
version.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so weird that they didn't, because they're like, hey, Katy Perry and Post Malone and all these other people are making songs for us now. That feels like a slam dunk to just have Rihanna come up and just sing a song
Right.
she already wrote.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
As for the platinum
put it in the
aspect
game.
of it, I do know that there's like 2 signs that they might be incorporating certain elements of platinum, where it's like there's an NPC that they showed in the like when you're walking, there's an NPC that is only there in platinum. People noticed,
Oh.
and then Porygon Z was only in the platinum Pokedex. So there might be a couple of mixed in things.
Let's hope they don't Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire where they tease some of the stuff that was in Emerald and then don't put it in. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just not putting the Battle Frontier into the remakes at all.
Like
I
they're building
really
it.
wish that the
Yeah. What a middle finger, dude. I hated that.
yeah. I hope we do get a Giratina episode, and because I would like to see the distortion world. I would have
Oh,
loved to see it
yeah.
better and good graphics, but like whatever. But I kind of wish the remakes. I mean, not just Diamond and Pearl, but also Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did go the Heart Gold and Soul Silver route, where they're like, we're gonna give you the original names and colors because like then we could still sell 2 of these, but we're gonna use the story of the definitive edition because those use the
there
story
was
of
a lot
Crystal.
That'd be
of
cool,
Crystal
yeah.
stuff in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go back to the main.
We gotta talk about Legends, dude. I'm dying.
Oh my
Main
gosh.
event. Let's go.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Legends is the game that I imagined as a 10-year-old. And I'm like,
Yep.
someday this will be it.
100%.
It was the 10-year-old dream. You put it perfectly, Jordan. It was the game that you pictured in your mind, and you're like, this will never happen. They can't do
Mhm.
this. And but they're kind of not doing that. I really do feel like this is them testing the waters for this kind of system. And I'm just gonna put it out there at the top. I am cautiously optimistic about it because I'm worried that it's gonna be this vast open world and it's gonna be kind of like
Empty.
yeah. That's my
Here's the
worry.
Here's the thing is we haven't seen enough of it yet to
Exactly.
me
Totally
and be
agree.
like and be like and start making definitive claims. I think that's always a concern whenever people are like, hey, open world game. I go,
They still got a
'cause,
year
I
to
mean-
work on it.
yeah, still gotta get word. My main concern isn't necessarily with content so far, just as it is performance. Because
Yep.
even the reveal trailer was rough. The
Yeah.
frame rate,
Yeah,
bad.
that was the exact same thing for Sword and Shield too.
Yeah, and Sword and Shield still have performance issues when you're in the wild area. This game is all wild area.
Well, the other part was like, and the stream, I don't know about you guys. My stream was lagging in general, just the giant Pokemon Day stream. So like,
Mhm.
I would have to go back and watch the Legends video.
Well, see, I didn't watch it live. I watched the video later, and the frame
Okay.
rate was rough. I'm probably like 20-25 frames
Oh,
per
wow.
second. Like it was low.
But can we talk about the Pokeballs though? They were so freaking cool.
Yes.
I originally
So dumb. They got
saw
like
them-
clasps on them.
because they're
Never
old fashioned. I remember seeing
Steam
this like
powered.
this picture like it's not a meme because it's not funny, but I don't know what else to call it. Like years ago, they would just go around where somebody's like, imagine a Pokemon Gen 0 where it takes place before Red and Blue, and it's like you have no Pokedex because you're making it basically like this. And they said it's
That's
like,
exactly
what
what
if
this is.
what if you caught them with the apricots that they mentioned in Gold and Silver? And I really thought that's what these were going to be, but no, they are using just like not primitive, but like the first
Well, they're made
version
of
of
wood.
Pokeball.
They're made of
wooden
wood,
steam.
and they made a weird point
Like zipper.
of pointing out one like the clasp on the front, and then how it like emits steam when it closes.
Mhm.
Which I mean, that's cool that they're doing that. But I mean,
That
it is
detail,
literally
that's
year
cool.
zero. It's where you're going around, you're catching Pokemon, and you're creating like one of the first Pokedexes
The
ever.
first
Like,
Pokedex,
that's the
what they
goal.
said.
In Sinnoh, yeah.
The
Yeah,
first
I-
Sinnoh Pokedex, yes. So that's what we were talking about. I think we were just in a Discord call, but we were saying it's instead of actually being like a like electronic Pokedex, it's gonna be you're like writing it down in a book, like drawing pictures, like out in the field, that kind of thing.
I also wonder if they're not gonna have, the National Dex controversy put aside.
I would assume
This game shouldn't have every Pokemon because they wouldn't have all been discovered yet.
Yep.
Correct.
Someone also pointed out like there should be none of the like technology Pokemon. No Metagross, no Porygon, no Genesect.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
No Trubbish, Vanillish.
Can we also talk about how the starters are from different gens?
That's awesome.
I like that.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Very
the
cool.
professor,
Yep.
from what they said, whoever your professor is that for
He
this
brought him there.
game, he brought him.
Let's be
so-
honest, it's gonna be like they're gonna make it like Oak's great grandpa, aren't they?
Of course. Why wouldn't
Of
they?
course, yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
be related somehow.
I will
And,
say,
I'm glad.
Okay,
I'm
go-
glad
go
we get. I'm glad we get another like shining light on Cyndaquil because I feel like
Yes.
I feel like he doesn't get enough love in the main games.
My favorite thing about the starters they picked were they didn't pick any Kanto starters, where everybody would just go for the nostalgia.
Yep.
And they also didn't pick any of the Sinnoh starters because you're in the Sinnoh region.
Yeah, I think they show there's one point where you can actually see like a group of Chimchars like
Yep,
out in the
I do
wild.
remember that.
Yeah, I mean, them being in the wild makes much more sense.
one
Something.
thing-
I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's all you. I just made it.
I kind of forgot it now. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. Something else I wanted to point out though too, because I mean, they explicitly call it an action RPG. And so
Yeah.
there's a point where we see the trainer like do a
Dodge
dodge
roll.
roll, which is wild. But also the combat doesn't look like it. I mean, it looks like it pauses the action per se, but it doesn't look like you hit a screen, you do an animation, it all starts. It looks like you get into combat and then
It's
you're just
there.
immediately
The UI
there.
pops up the way you're
There's
standing.
no
Which-
cut. Yeah, it's just you're
That
immediately in the
UI
battle.
looks so clean.
Very clean, very nice, very
Oh.
minimal.
So what's funny is there was somebody that I've been on the Pokemon Leaks subreddit like this whole week before the presents.
I need to get on.
And there was somebody that was like putting up videos of like them playing as a Pikachu, and people were like, "We know this is fake. Like this is we could tell it's unreal. Like you're trying to pass it off."
Mhm.
But then when Legends came out, I still don't think what that was real. But like, it is an interesting concept of like not suddenly start playing as a Pokemon, but to have kind of the world as your arena, and then to kind of go again. Pokemon's always kind of been limited by the tech it was on, but like the anime's always done cool things where it's like they've found other ways to incorporate what they can do. Where it's like with electric Pokemon, just electrocute the floor. And now you have like moves that put on an electric terrain, but you can't do them in the moment. So I think that if they can kind of put a slight action element into because that's what else I heard. There was rumors that it wasn't going to be turn-based anymore, that it was going to be a lot more like Final Fantasy VII system, where there's a gauge, you pause, so it's like half turn-based, half action. And I feel like that's going to give an interesting concept where it's like,
I was about to say,
move that miss.
There was like one in the trailer where I mean it very clearly looked turn based because they had the menu up with the attack names
moves,
and
yeah.
everything, and it's just kind of panning around. Like
Yeah.
it was like a pause. It was like a lull in it. I didn't see like an ATB bar anywhere, but I mean I'd be down for them to kind of switch it up a bit.
Yeah.
Give us a
Me
little
too.
more agency over the fights.
No, I mean, I love it. I'm not going in expecting that, but I do think that would be interesting.
So I remember my point now. So before I forget it again, so my point of being cautiously optimistic about like there being enough content there. If this kind of pushes you into like, because this is what gets me hype. If this pushes you into becoming kind of, I know the goal is to create the Pokédex and do that, but if you create the first gym, I think that would be super fucking cool.
Like how Sun
Like,
and
if
Moon
you're-
had you become the first
I didn't play.
champion. Okay, Sun and Moon, they do stuff differently. They don't have gyms or an Elite Four.
Yeah,
But
that
then
I'm
they
aware of.
build the Elite Four at the end of the game, and you're the first person to beat it. So you become the first champion of the region.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. But you're like the very first gym leader, and like they don't even know what that is yet. They don't even call it gyms until like the very end or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I think that would be super
because they
cool.
wouldn't have like a league.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because I also do wonder how much
Be a
into
dojo.
the traditional Pokemon stuff they are going to lean into,
Mhm.
because it does sound like they are going to make this a lot about the lore, which I'm not saying is a bad
I'm so
thing.
down with, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think Pokemon has needed something to break away from that. And so there was one more thing that I wanted to harp on to, which part one is I do think it's actually going to be much more story based around and I mean obviously very explorative. I think it's cool to kind of go back to that initial idea that you had with Pokemon Red, where it's like, okay, you're in, now go. You
Yeah.
know, so something that I'm curious about, because now that they're outsourcing these remakes and stuff, I'm curious if the game specifically is called Pokemon Legends Arceus, which tells me, because if you look up like the name like written out, not the logo, it's Legends semicolon
Okay.
Arceus,
I was about to ask the same question.
which tells me, I was like, is this a series? Like, could and so ideally, and I'm hoping that it becomes a series. That way, we can get the same concept where you're on these regions long before they're super civilized. But it's like, can you imagine that with something
Mewtwo?
especially like Johto,
Or no,
or
Mew.
it would be Mew if you went back to
I
Kanto,
feel like
because Mewtwo was created,
Exactly. Yeah.
or like
that's what I was
Hoenn.
going to say.
Like, oh my god, that would be fucking
Is
amazing.
you would have to find out what each legend is in each region. Kanto being Mew would make the most sense.
Celebi for Johto.
Yeah, Celebi
Yeah,
for
Mew,
Johto.
Mew, Celebi, Rayquaza for
Yep.
Alpha
Or
Sapphire,
Jirachi.
Sapphire, or Jirachi maybe
Ooh,
too.
Jirachi,
Yeah, I can see Rayquaza being a bit more just kind of on that level if we're talking like
Yeah.
Arceus, who's literally Pokemon God.
That's what I get to. But that's what I wanted to get into. Is does Arceus control time?
No, he's God.
Arceus is God.
Dialga and
Okay.
Palkia are time and space. Giratina's the devil, and Arceus is God. Is
So
Arceus Arceus?
is that still Sinnoh?
They said Arceus in the.
That's all.
thing. I've
All the
always said
Sinnoh
Arceus.
legendaries.
Yeah, that's all Sinnoh.
Basically, Sinnoh was like, or Black and White was kind of a soft reboot in style for the series, where from then on they weren't based in Japan, and the numbers the numbers of the routes restarted every gen, because between gens 1 through 4, the numbers of the routes just kept going up.
Yeah, the first 4 gens are all a little more connected.
Because they're all based off parts of
I had
Japan.
something.
Yeah, whereas Black and White reset because it was actually based off of America.
So we're in the past, like far off past,
400
like,
years, I think
feudal,
they said.
Yeah.
And so one of the Sinnoh legendaries, control time, right? Which one?
Dialga.
Okay, so that person. So are we gonna see time travel in this game? Because we're far in the past.
That would be
Which,
sick.
oh my gosh, that would make sense because you get basically Dawn and what's the guy's
Lucas.
name? Lucas.
Shit. That's interesting.
Mild spoilers. So they're gonna fucking Age of Calamity this shit?
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know the details, but apparently time travel in Age of Calamity at some point.
I mean, time travel isn't an Age of Calamity thing. Let's be real.
Yeah, but just
But
people
who's
did not
that?
expect that in that game.
Gotcha.
Well, it wasn't that they didn't expect it. It's people were upset that because of some of the things that the time travel causes in Age of Calamity, it kind of makes it non-canon. So it's like it kind of retcons a bunch of stuff, and then everyone's like, oh, it's a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and then also it's like, not really.
Right.
So
yeah.
because I wanna wrap up and still mention Snap and the intro to the intro to this was so
We didn't
nostalgic,
forget.
and I love
We were
But
getting to it.
So
We were getting
before
to it.
before we get there, I just want to say, like, super high hopes for this game. I hope that it's everything we dreamed of, but I know that it's not going to be, because I feel like we just have way too high expectations for even seeing this on screen at all.
For the first one, I think it'll be pretty rough around the edges, but if they do decide to make it a series, I think it can get better, and that's what excites me.
Regardless, like if they charge $100 for this game, I would buy it day one.
I'm still gonna buy it.
100%.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
I also want to clarify
right.
something. I'm probably gonna buy the Diamond and Pearl remakes. I'm just gonna be honest right
You're
there.
gonna buy them. Shut
You're
up.
gonna buy them.
You're gonna buy them. Don't act like you're not gonna get in on the hype.
But I also was gonna just ask, if they were to do this with other regions, do you guys think they should always have as big of a gap of like 400 years before we've seen it, or do you think that just going a little further back, or
it doesn't have to be like exactly 400 years. I like the idea of seeing like ancient versions of all the regions, but you can play around with the times and stuff there. I think.
I obviously didn't mean exact 400, but it's like if they were just like 30 years.
They could.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like I like the idea of more like prequel style games like this.
You said the regions jump.
Play differently.
You said the regions jumped around a lot. They could do like the Assassin's Creed thing and just like do a different region every time. So like feudal
Yeah.
Japan, then they have like I don't know, desert, like whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, they kind of already do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, yeah, let's talk about Pokemon Snap real fast because damn, it looks great. It looks like a
Yeah,
good time, man.
They
Comes
they
out
gave us
in like 2 months, doesn't it?
yeah
Soon,
Like
yeah.
April?
I'm not sure.
April 30th, I think.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't think it's worth $60. That's what I will say.
How
But
dare
bro,
you.
you get access to Pokemon Instagram.
It looks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it
For
is worth the
$60,
60.
I'll
I think
buy
it
I'm not,
does.
I'm not buying this right away. I'm just not.
Photo, adding a photo editor is such an easy slam dunk, but also what a great
Mhm.
decision because I could see Game Freak being like, "Nah, we're not going to put an actual like photo mode in the game." But yeah, they did it.
They
Before we-
also. Oh, go ahead,
I was
Alex.
just gonna say before we get too far. I'd say Brett, Josh, you guys got any thoughts on the Pokemon stuff so far?
Yeah, Arceus looks cool. I am worried about the performance, but yeah, based off of what I played of Sword and Shield, like I'm expecting it to be a little rough. But the concept's certainly intriguing.
Just
I
don't
think
connect to
even
the
if it's-
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if they can't, if it's not like perfect, like if it's not like blazing 60 frames per second or anything, it's like as long as the main gameplay loop is there, I think I'll be able to forgive some performance issues.
Well-
I think it would be perfect for this to be like a launch title for the Switch Pro.
Well, that's what I was
yeah.
gonna say. Imran Khan tweeted like a hypothesis of like, what if Breath of the Wild 2, Pokemon Legends, and Splatoon 3 are just kind of the launch lineup for this Switch Pro?
Ugh.
Because this
That'd be
game is
fantastic.
expected.
That would be
that'd be-
that would be quite a fucking
Jizz my
launch.
pants.
It is expected early 2022, so which is not
Which is when Pokemon's
only a
coming
year
out.
away. So yeah, and then Snap looks amazing. I don't.
I love
is, there,
the
is there underwater sections in the first one? There are. Okay.
No, not in the first.
No, there was not underwater. There was one where you're it was
On a
like
down a
beach.
river.
waterfall,
Yeah, down the waterfall, and then
You're floating down a river, basically.
but not underwater, which I think is cool.
Yeah, the underwater sections look amazing. So
Graphics
did
look
play-
legitimately
blown
nice.
away.
I didn't play the original, but I mean, this looked great. But like, I don't know. It doesn't seem $60 worth $60, and you can hate me for that. It's fine. But I
No.
know I don't want to buy I don't want to buy this right away. But I know they never drop their prices on games, so I'm like, I guess I'm just not playing the game.
You'll just pay $60 later.
No.
yeah.
Mhm.
To kind of touch on both
Or you'll
Snap
find it
and-
pre-owned.
To kind of touch on Snap
Maybe.
and that fabulous intro video that they did for Pokemon Presents.
Oh,
which
that
was
was so good.
They shouted you out.
Yeah,
Where are my royalties, Game Freak?
I
They said
immediately
the
thought
word
about you.
They said the words Rumble Pack in it.
What if they hear this and they actually just send you a cease and desist?
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Well, that'd
surprised.
be Nintendo,
knowing
not
that.
It's like
necessarily.
it's spelled differently, and I have 92 in there, and also fuck you.
If you
I
had-
rest my
if you
case,
had
Your
to-
Honor.
no, if you had to go down though, Pokemon taking you down, that's pretty cool. Just saying.
If that's the way I go, that's the way I go.
Yeah.
But there was a shot in that video though of them like showing like the printed photos that you could get, and back in the N64 days in Pokemon Snap, you could save them to a memory card, take that memory card to a Blockbuster, and they would print them for you.
Yep.
And then they would turn out as these little stickers, and they had that shot there. And now we finally have Pokemon Snap back again. But you know what we don't have
Blockbuster.
is the ability to go to Blockbuster and print my photos out again.
These machines are still out there in the wild.
I'm sure they are.
Did you do this, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're that old? Huh.
100.
Damn.
100.
Oh,
Why do you think there's a 92 in my username?
You're
What
right.
do
You know what?
think
That's
that
on
meant?
me.
Yeah,
You know
see,
what? That's on
Chris is the one that has Blockbuster memories, not me, like Matt assumed.
I do too.
I'm the old.
I mean, I
I
have
do as
fucking
well.
Blockbuster
Al's
memories. I'm not
too.
gonna lie.
I assume Brett is. I don't know.
I have
me. You
Blockbuster
guys are gonna need
memories.
Kane soon. Jesus.
My back does hurt.
Mood.
Same.
Austin, if you don't want to spend $60 on the new Pokemon Snap, you can get the original on Wii U for $10.
Oh my god, shut up.
Do you think I have a Wii U?
Okay, well that's
Doesn't-
also,
no one
you're right.
doesn't
That's gonna
everybody?
that's gonna
Doesn't
that's gonna set
everybody?
you back another $10.
Doesn't everybody have a Wii U?
Right. My mistake.
Nope.
Oh, it's somewhere.
Looking at mine right now.
Live.
Snap is like one of those games where it's like if you played it as a kid, you loved it. If you didn't, you're like, what the fuck's the point? I'm just taking pictures. But I
That's kinda
do
how I
like
feel.
how they're adding more to it, but like within the same realm. Like it's not like, oh, it's an open world Snap, or like you have 100 things at your disposal. But like they added one more thing, which, or maybe it's a replacement, but it's like they had the aura ball that like makes the Pokemon shine and do something. Versus the gas one which you had, and then of course you still have the apples.
Yeah,
But
I
we
mean,
don't know
it
that
legitimately
those.
looks like a sequel to Pokemon Snap, which is cool. That's kind of
I
what we
think
all
there are
wanted.
some people that think they spotted Todd in the trailer.
That'd be sick.
Oh.
That'd be sick if they referenced the original. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things to where I think really the draw of the Snap games aren't necessarily the actual photo taking themselves, although like because it is kind of a puzzle game and trying to like make some Pokemon evolve or figure out how to get them to do this thing so you
Get
can
the
take this
right
picture because you
pose,
actually
yeah.
get rated. You get more points for certain
Yeah.
for getting certain Pokemon in poses or whatever. But also, it's just the original Pokemon Snap was the first time that we got to kind of see, for lack of a better term, like Pokemon just kind of living in their own environment and kind of just be in the world and kind of experience what Pokemon might actually be like if they existed. And so that's just kind of like a cool look to being like, hey, it's just Pokemon kind of hanging out and doing their thing. It's like a nature documentary, but it's all Pokemon instead of real animals.
Can we hear from Josh?
So I'm not a Pokemon guy. This is kind of like when y'all talked about like crying and like while watching anime, and I just like
That was so long ago. Let it go.
That
hasn't been
anime.
on in a
he was
while.
on.
Exactly. I was much more of a Digimon kid, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The
fair,
only
honestly.
Pokemon game I've ever played was like Go when that was popping off for the summer, and then I only ever mentioned the scene where Pikachu speaks in that one movie because I think it's funny.
Oh god.
But I was gonna say, as someone who hasn't really played any of these games, like what would you say would be like a better like touchstone or like first impression is this new Legends game or these remakes?
Play Let's Go and then play Arceus.
Yeah.
I would definitely say Let's Go is a good place to start because
Yeah.
it gives you the basic foundation of what Pokemon is. It's the first
Right.
region, and this some people didn't like this, but it didn't incorporate certain things that they added in later, but that also adds an element to the battles. So if you just want to know what types are bad and or good against other types, Let's Go is going to teach you that. Then when you get to your next game, you'll learn about abilities and held items, which were not available in Let's Go.
Which a better path might be. And so better path might be Let's Go, Sword Shield, than Legends.
Yeah, because Legends is a very hard deviation off of what the main Pokemon games are. I mean, it's I know it's getting a lot of criticism, but it's like Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon. Where
it's like some
Pokemon
same
games are
music
kind
too.
of their own genre.
Which, to be fair, before Breath of the Wild was a thing, that's kind of what we were asking for Pokemon to begin with.
Yes, no, it was.
100%, yeah.
100%.
Also, Josh, I mean, it's like
they didn't have to recreate like the sweeping shot that comes up behind him and then
I just like the meme now.
You can't tell me it's not.
I just like the meme now of everybody just finding a landscape and being like fucking Breath of the Wild clone. So, but Josh, the other thing is like, I mean, you're not like a child. Like, I think you'll be able to adapt to abilities and held items right away. If you want to just jump into Sword and Shield, my friend Laren, who's like been on a few episodes of Waypoint now,
she's great.
Her first Pokemon game was Sword and Shield. She had it. She got it down.
Really easy to get into Sword and Shield, honestly. It'll teach you how to play the game, and then if you wanted to play more, I'd recommend figuring out a way to go back and play like one of the older like DS games if you want.
Right, because I only have a Switch to play these on, right? And so that's why I was thinking like, if I had to start somewhere, it'd have to be one of these Switch games. But y'all talking about how this Legends is your dream game, that kind of sold me on it. To be honest, like I'm like, this actually kind of sounds like a pretty good.
It's gonna be dope.
Pretty good start point. And then I've been wanting to say that like maybe they should outsource to Japan studio, so hopefully we can get some more good Pokemon games.
Bringing it back around, I love it.
Exactly.
Pokemon 1000 Knack.
Exactly. Oh my god, that's
These
my
are gonna be
Pokemon
my
dream
two
right there.
My two closing thoughts. Sword and Shield was way too easy for me, in my opinion, but also I've played a ton of Pokemon, so like for this point, for like Josh starting, it would be the perfect Pokemon for you for difficulty level, because you can just fly through that game as long as you go to as long as you don't do the DLC first.
Yeah,
then you might be in trouble.
It'll give you your sea legs. It'll be easy, but
Mhm.
it'll
Right.
kind of get you. It'll let you feel out kind of how Pokemon games play.
It is also, and again, I don't know if this is because we've grown up or because or the games have actually changed, but it's like the dialogue is childish. The story, I mean, the stories in this one isn't bad, but it's like a lot of just like the dialogue and stuff is just like, okay, sure. Where it's like, you know, in Diamond and Pearl, they literally wanted to go into hell and get the devil out, and in Black and White, they wanted to like free Pokemon from their chains. Like, you're dealing with a
Pokemon.
lot of, you know. So it's like this one just is like the dialogue might not be incredible, and
That's not why
just-
anyone plays, though. To be
As
fair.
no, I just mean like
Yeah.
don't go in and be like, oh my god, this is for fucking 3-year-olds. It's just like
But Sword and Shield is a great game to go in and just catch a whole bunch of Pokemon in and kind of experience that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. So, and then my last thing, you might hate me. You guys might hate me for this one, but I feel like if Pokemon Snap was going to be remade, that should have been the first thing Nintendo put on mobile. I think it should have been a mobile game. Just saying.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Damn, hot take right there.
But yeah, conversely too, and this is just me reading because I haven't played them, but Platinum is assumed to be the hardest Pokemon game or one of them, right?
I would say
What I read.
probably Gen 5, like the Black White games.
Yeah, those legitimately had a hard mode in
a
them.
whole game is hard to rate. Where it's like I know everybody says that Cynthia is the hardest champion, but not necessarily the Diamond and Pearl or the hardest game. It's also like, you know, a lot of it, like the first game, you know, those gyms change difficulty depending on who you pick as a starter. Like
Yeah.
Brock's gym is either an easy win or very difficult depending on who you pick.
Well, because it was different. It was different design
Interesting.
choices to where the 3 starters were supposed to be like your easy,
Easy,
medium, hard
medium, hard,
difficulty,
yeah.
and they've kind of shifted away from that since then. I would say if you're looking for a more challenging Pokemon game, I would try Black and White or Black and White 2. I think those ones actually like legitimately up the challenge. The AI is a bit smarter there,
Right.
and especially like the OG Black and White, like Black and White 1 and the originals are. They did a thing where it was a hard reset. They're like, hey, there's 150 brand new Pokemon. None of the old ones are in this game
Until post game.
until post game, sure. But you have to go through the main story of the game with entirely brand new Pokemon. You kind of have to relearn all of that over again. And I
And
really
that
like
story
that too.
is honestly one of the best in Pokemon.
Surprisingly well written.
I've always been iffy on that philosophy where it's like I do think that they should try to push the new Pokemon more, especially it's like the ones that are always in there are obviously going to be the Kanto ones. But I do like a light mix where it's just like, to me, it realistically makes sense that like
I think Sword and
Pidgey-
Shield nailed it.
yeah, where it's like Pidgey is not just located in only Kanto in the first few regions. It's like, oh yeah, no, he also exists in Johto, and you could find him in certain parts of Sinnoh. Like, it just makes sense in terms of world building. But I do think they need to scale it differently.
I will
Yeah,
say
I
that
think- I think Sword and Shield nailed that part of it though.
Yeah.
in the future, the two things I've always wanted, well, I mean, with open world, Pokemon was the top of the list. But the other two things I always wanted was one, for them to somehow balance out having different types for starters. Like just one that isn't 5. I know it's 4 types at the beginning, I get that, but then just make the game differently. Like just type it out differently. Have only certain types. I don't know. But I just want to start with something else other than fire, water, or grass. Also, I really just want a mature game. Like I want give me like not this dark tone the entire time, but like Lavender Town. Like the stuff around Lavender Town is dark as shit.
You
if
want to
look
hear
into that.
Professor Oak say the word like fuck, right?
No. But, and I
You
don't want to
want-
too much.
Mature is the F word, yeah.
I don't want to spend too much. We have to wrap up, but like I just want a Pokemon that like is made for us, made for the
You
freaking
want-
old fuckers.
You want The Last of Us 2, but it's Pokemon, right? That's what
No.
you're basically
No.
asking for.
That's what I'm
All
hearing.
right.
That's what I'm hearing.
Damn it!
Exactly.
I think actually what Austin wants to know, he doesn't want Last of Us 2. He wants it to be edgy for the purposes of being adults. It's just like he wants the South Park of Pokemon.
I was
God
gonna
damn
say
it.
I was gonna
Okay,
say
that
Shadow
actually
the
sounds-
Hedgehog of Pokemon.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
God damn it! I'm muting.
And with that, we're going to close out this episode of Media Club. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment what your favorite announcement was from these two, and we will see you at the next waypoint.